कोई बताए प्लीज टेल, क्या हम लोग लोगों को खाली कर देंगे फ्लड प्लेन जोनिंग में से, या स्कूल अलग कर देंगे? बताएं। तो ऐसा करने से फायदा क्या होगा? मतलब अभी अगर गवर्नमेंट एक्ट पास कर भी देती है तो व्हाट विल बी द बेनिफिट? वेरी वेरी गुड. We will avoid any future settlement there. Like government bans the polythene, है ना? Like government bans the polythene, तो एकदम से पॉलिथीन तो नहीं बंद हो जाएगा, but these steps are taken to make the people aware. At least the next generation that we are living in the floodplain. Now, whenever flood came, they will not blame the government. At least we put the boards over there that this is a zone A, only this much construction is allowed. So there are three stages of floodplain zoning act. One is the passing of the act and its implementation. Stages are three. First stage, you just make people aware that you are living in zone A, you are living in zone B, so that there is a sensitization among the people. And in the zones D and C, if possible, you make evacuations. You make them ki, okay, you shift, you make some strict regulation, you charge, you make some higher taxes. In this way, government runs. We cannot strictly evacuate the area. Okay? So let them live for another 10 years. Make them notices that you will not going to sell this land to anyone else because this is under floodplain zone now. A. Very, very severe critical situation. So in this way, the floodplain zoning works. Now, we will discuss about the basics of drainage. How drainage system for a city will be designed. इसी पे करें क्या? So that it will be recorded also, ना? That board is not recordable. तो इनको एक बार बताइएगा कैसे. अच्छा, यहाँ साइड से आता है ना? When I this one ना? Just come over it only. You have to clean. Please enrich my knowledge if I am. This is just a discussion, okay? Please do participate. So, I met Honorable Chief Secretary of Nagaland, who is my college senior. He retired in July. So I just made a courtesy visit to him. He told me that we are facing a drainage issue at Dimapur Airport. So I have taken that project and he designed the airport drainage, which is now taken by Brahmaputra board for construction purpose. So issue they are facing is that whenever there is a rain, whole airport got submerged. everyone, what is a catchment area? Catchment area.
Water from
And what is command area?
irrigation.
Water.
नहीं सर.
कैचमेंट एरिया क्या होता है? कोई भी बताओ. So when you connect the top of the mountain, suppose there are mountains, any top of any region, when you connect the top points of any region, it is, and you make a line. Suppose there is a bowl, saucer like shape, and you connect all the top points. So whenever a cloud comes over this catchment like this, and in US it is known as watershed line. In India we say catchment line. Catchment. Okay. So when a rain falls, that half of the water will go in this direction because this is the topmost point over which the water is flowing, and suppose half of the water will go in this direction. This is how catchment is defined. When you connect the top points of particular area, like these are the topmost points of particular area, over the, suppose the highest point in the area, and they are connected. So whatever water is coming into it, it will flow into it. Is it clear to everyone? So in this way, the slope of the Ganga region, Great Gangetic Plains is 1 in 6,000, 1 in 7,500. Very, very gentle slope here. But our Brahmaputra slope is 1 in 2,500, 1 in 1,500. Very, very steep. In Assam, it starts from 1 in 2,000 to 1 in 4,000 actually. Very steep. The slope of Ganga is 1 in 2,000 and the Brahmaputra is gentle, 1 in 7,500. So it is just like throwing water on this table. If I throw water on this table, starting from the entry into Assam, the slope is very gentle. That is why Brahmaputra does not know where it goes. So in one statement before the Honorable Secretary Ma'am, I told her that it is just like a table. When you throw a water over it, where the water will go, no one knows. Because slope is very, very gentle. Okay? That is why some pockets are being made. People started living on sand jars. So slope is very gentle. But the slope of Ganga plain is 1 in 2,500. Very steeper. So here the topography is entirely different. Some structures which works in Brahmaputra does not work in Ganga. Okay. So this is a catchment area. Now everyone is getting the picture of catchment area. It is a bowl type structure, which is a natural structure connecting top points of all area. You will find a catchment area over. Okay. Although this catchment area may contain some small catchments also, very small catchment, but we only consider larger catchment area, and catchment area is always signified with two things. One is any major water body flowing into it. It should always have a water body, any major water body flowing into it. One thing. Second thing, at which point of catchment area are you talking for? Like, are you talking for Dibrugarh, or you are talking for Tezpur, or you are talking for Guwahati or Dhubri? And then the catchment of Brahmaputra is, suppose this catchment is all Arunachal Pradesh part, then this catchment of Dibrugarh is this much. When we are coming to Tezpur, the catchment area increases as we discussed yesterday. Okay? When we are coming to Guwahati, the catchment area again increases. Okay, sir? Then we are going to Dhubri, then the catchment area is this much. All, because the water is coming from all that area. Now the concept is crystal clear. So how gentler the, whether it is a plate shape structure, which is a plate Indian plane, magnetic plane, or it is foul shape, all top points are connected, and water is falling into it. It will go in some. Okay. So the 2 points for a catchment which are important are, it should have a place at which we are talking about, and it should have any major distributory, any major water body. Okay. Now this place can be divided into many small catchments also. Like this may have some separate water body. This will be the dominant water body of that area. This will be some separate catchment, and this will be its dominant water body. There are sub catchment. Okay, but in general we are saying that we will have this much of scale, which is the catchment area. We have to fix the scale. Okay. So for the drainage part, for a particular city, when we are talking about, we have to concentrate only on this sub-catchment part, because we are bothered to, first of all, we don't have that much of economic capacity. Okay. Second thing, we don't have that much budget. Now we cannot design for every place in the city. We have to concentrate on important structures, like whether it is an army settlement, whether it is an airport, it is a railway station, bus terminal. So for those important places, or any hospital, prominent hospital, CMC. So for those important places, the return period which we take is 1 in 100 years. Okay, for important places, the return period is 1 in 100 years. So obviously 1 in 100 years the discharge will be more. And for interested to know that when you take for other things in the city, like you are going for your household society, or you are designing a crane for it, it will be designed for 1 year. What is the maximum discharge in that year? So you took any value, okay, thoda bahut. Although if it got flooded at some extreme event, there will not be that much of structure or that much of event time. Everyone is clear? Like you are going for a smaller city, then 1 in 5 years. These are some return period values which we take hydrology. Yeah. It may happen in 1 in 2 years. This is a thing. It may not happen on me. Okay. But for it will repeat in 100 years. It's not. From top line. Top. Whether somewhere I cross the mountain peak above. So I am connecting which point is topmost is in front towards. Whenever the water falls over it, it will come into my river. That catchment river. Wherever in this catchment the water is coming, it will come into my river. Okay. Now I told you command area, na? The command area is like I make a canal from it. man-made canal. So up to which area this canal will serve? This is called command. Although it's not the topic for today. Up to which area this canal water will go by gravity or by pumping or by any method. Whatever you have decided for that canal. If you make it as a lift irrigation project, then by pumping. So, like many projects in Assam, I have seen, canal is not completed, but water is still going, overflowing the canal, and it is going in the whole catchment area by gravity. Okay, I will not change this forum. So, it is clear? पर इसको होती तो है रखती हाथ गंदा हो जाएगा in this board when I qualified this government exam I was teaching in one coaching before so there was also a digital board मोड नहीं कोई बात नहीं न्यू न्यू कर दीजिए न्यू पेज कर दीजिए क्या आएगा न्यू कर दीजिए न्यू चलो अब मैं ऐसे ही करूँ वो वाला ही आप डस्टर दे दो मुझे डस्टर से सही हो जाएगा क्योंकि इसमें धूल बहुत डस्ट है ना एक्चुअली डस्ट से हाथ भी गंदा हो चलो ठीक है न्यू आ गया ठीक वेरी गुड तो द लिंक जो है टूट जाता है तो we are now we will discuss how particular strong capacity will be calculated. Very very simple formula is there that Q is equals to Ti है ना only remember this formula so where Q is in cubic meter per second, T is the coefficient which is indicator of how much stone had fallen onto the ground and how much it is gone inside. जितना ज़्यादा gone inside, उसका runoff कम. The infiltration more, runoff will be less. Okay. So this is a coefficient. This is in mm. Intensity of rainfall, mm per hour. T is coefficient. Only just write coefficient of infiltration. And A is in hectare. A is in hectare. I is intensity of rainfall. When rainfall intensity is more, the discharge will be more. अभी ये बहुत rising field है. Urban hydrology is a very rising field. Central Water Commission had opened one directorate in PwC headquarters on urban hydrology. Director urban hydrology. So this area is in hectare. When we make all units in SI, so some value of C is there, and I is, when we convert in meter, 1/1000 for mm, and 1 hour ऊपर है तो 3600 in seconds, and hectare में 10,000. So you cancel, only 360 will remain. 1001. So C I A by 360. This is the formula for if we want to have a Q in cubic meter per second. So intensity is defined in mm per hour. You directly put the value of intensity and the area. These all are theoretical things which are available in every book. We have concentrated on practical aspects. IS 456/2007 is there. It is not in 456. It is there in many rational formulas or theories, book of hydrology. Now the point of concentration is, let me show 1-2 videos first, then you will have a sense how urban hydrology. एक बार ये बोर्ड YouTube पे करिएगा, YouTube हो रही है, वहाँ पे करिए, बोर्ड पे से मैंने हटा दिया था ऑप्शन. वहाँ से होगा. आपको पता है वो YouTube पे स्विच कर दीजिए इसे.
Councils are responsible for managing much of the stormwater infrastructure across Adelaide. This video explains how urban stormwater systems work and what happens when we have rainfall. Rainwater falls on surfaces such as parks, roads, gardens and buildings. Rain runs off roofs, through downpipes and out to the street. A typical stormwater system has two parts that work in tandem: the underground minor pipe system and the overland major road system. Here is a cross-section of the underground minor stormwater system. This system transports stormwater during smaller storm events that typically occur once every 2 to 5 years.
इसकी आवाज आती है? वॉल्यूम कहाँ से आएगा? अब आ जाएगा वॉल्यूम अपने आप. They will able to hear स्पीकर में.
Across Adelaide. This video explains how urban stormwater systems work and what happens when we have rainfall. Rainwater falls on surfaces such as parks. Councils are responsible for managing much of the stormwater infrastructure across Adelaide. This video explains how urban
वहाँ पे वीडियो चल क्यों नहीं रहा?
Councils are responsible for managing much of the stormwater.
I stress you all to involve yourself always in such technological things. They are very easy to learn. एक बार में नहीं सीखेंगे, 2 बार में सीख जाएंगे. So this is one urban drainage, how storm water goes during the rainy season.
Councils are responsible for managing much of the stormwater infrastructure across Adelaide. This video explains how urban stormwater systems work and what happens when we have rainfall. Rainwater falls on surfaces such as parks, roads, gardens and buildings. Rain runs off roofs, through downpipes and out to the street. A typical stormwater system has two parts that work in tandem: the underground minor pipe system and the system. Each section is every 2 years. Then flows into drains called side entry pits. The water then flows through a network of pipes where it is then discharged out to a creek, river, lake or ocean. When it rains, leaves, rubbish and other debris on the street can be washed into and may block stormwater drains. While street sweeping helps in picking up some rubbish, it cannot pick up everything, especially during autumn and winter where there is an increase in the amount of leaf matter on roads and footpaths. Bigger storms with heavier rainfall occur less frequently. However, during these storms, the underground stormwater system fills and reaches its capacity. Stormwater in the gutters may subsequently start to rise and reach levels where the road becomes completely submerged, followed by the council verge. It is during these storms where we may experience temporary flooding of streets, as the street becomes the major overland stormwater system. When this happens, it's important to not drive or walk on flooded roads, as you cannot see the condition of the road underneath or if there are any obstacles. Driving from activities, landscape and putting on street the street drains away of the roads. How quickly this happens depends on many factors, including the size of the underground pipes, the gradient of the street and curbing, the gradient of the pipes, whether they are flat grades or steeper grades, any blockages, and the end conditions where the minor system discharges. Some urban stormwater systems along the coast are also influenced by tide levels. Major rain events that coincide with high tides or ocean storm
This is our
surges
problem.
impact the
Brahmaputra
minor
is like a
stormwater
river.
system's ability
It's like
to
a
drain
ocean.
out to sea. Even after the rain has stopped, there may be flooding until the tide level falls. During these times, stormwater may remain or pool in the streets for a longer duration. Likewise, during widespread heavy rains, creek and river levels rise and prevent the minor systems from freely draining, resulting in upstream flooding. Including pairing stormwater management plans and other stormwater infrastructure. For information,
अब यहाँ जो है the important thing is how much economically sound your city or municipal council or urban local body is. In that way they will able to design. आपके पास पैसा है, like in Tokyo, I got a chance to visit Tokyo. So if you are very rich, they made one tunnel inside the city, and in that tunnel the water goes, and that tunnel is directly connected to sea, at the sea level. Had anyone been to our colony, Adabari colony? So we faced after 20 years water clogging in our colony, too much, because many of our interconnected people, they know. I think some photos were shared in the groups also. Brahmaputra board people will be knowing. पानी भर गया था ना इस बार. तो I had taken the step earlier. Whenever I am connecting you to the practical things, and my aim is to make this more interactive. Everything is there in the books, but here we are to have a good interaction, so that I will able to learn something from you people, or I will able to give some knowledge to you people. So the thing is that these steps can be taken. What it depends on your economy also, है ना? Like how much accepted flooding you want. You want कि चलो हाफ आवर पानी फ्लड हो जाएगा 5 ईयर में, तो क्या प्रॉब्लम है? कोई बात नहीं. तो आपको ड्रेन बहुत बड़ा कैपेसिटी का बनाना पड़ेगा. तो हम लोग उस पे आएंगे. हाउ वी विल डिजाइन द सेक्शन ऑफ द ड्रेन, दैट इज द also in the next part of the lecture, but I am just giving you some basics. So what happened when anyone say you, no sir, this, or ma'am, this is not possible, this solution to the problem is not possible. Okay, so we are engineers. Involve yourself from the roots or the basics. Just I have taken all the levels of the drain nearby my colony. I put 2-3 J's over there. They have taken the level. Earlier, what is happening whenever any officer asks, we actually have a pumping system for the drainage water in my colony. Those pumps are also taking huge electricity. The bill is too much. I cannot say here. So we will save that precious money. So I did the survey work. So what I found, that after 250 meter, when I put my drain level over the exterior nala level, exterior drain is bigger drain, over it when I put at the top level, the distance is coming 250 meter with a very good slope. So the water can go with the gravity also. But no one is bothering. People say, sir, वो नाला तो higher elevation पे. Then I ask them कि at any elevation you find where it is down to our lowest level. So we find it कि at 250 meter we can even put it on the top of that nala. That much down it is. Every such drain, it requires a slope to flow. Okay. So here some points which I want to stress is that all these things will depend on your economical status. Yesterday also I told the return period in Europe is 1 in 25,000, 1 in 30,000, 1 in 1 lakh, because they have huge money, lesser population. So it depends how. But for our dams, we take 1 in 100 years. Okay, we cannot afford that much of higher flood. So
on the continuous improvements and the precautions and actions you can take to prepare for flooding, visit the SES link below.
One more video. So it is very clear that the problem is of urban area only. Whenever you have a settlement and people started living on the river plains, then they definitely face these problems. And even if they are not living in the river plain, in the future times, whenever there is no infiltration area available for a water, then it will flow on the surface. It will create a runoff. Okay. So whenever you are designing a drain, you have to see that this much of rural area is in your command of that drain. Okay. So that rural area will develop in future into some industry, like Tata has brought that chip making plant at Jagi Bhagat. It will produce 1 crore chips every year, computer chips, and it requires 3.5 million cubic liter of water. MCM of water, 3.5 MCM of water. So it will create a runoff, and all colony will be settled there. People will be living there. So all infiltration capacity. So for any future development, also you have to cater that drain. You have to think before. Ki presently it is a agriculture field, but consider the growth of population in that area as maybe 20% or 30% in 10 years. So what will be the effect of that population growth in that area? You have to consider it in the present drainage system, because you will find कि पता चला कि road बन गया, then you are taking it for new drainage system, like what is happening in our commonly what is happening in our areas. या पता चला कि आपका एक embankment है protection flood protection का, now the drainage you have to make a drainage hole into it, which is very risky part. How you will make a many places this problem is coming in Assam also. Now the drainage system has developed later, and we have an embankment, so you have to create a proper sluice gate over there. No, you don't have to directly hole any structure and pass pipe from it. Okay.
Or despise the concrete jungle, there's no denying its benefits. Putting all the people, houses, jobs, stores, offices, and diversions in one place gives us humans opportunities that wouldn't be possible if we all lived agrarian lifestyles spread out across the countryside. But there are some negative consequences that come from cramming so much into such a small area. At no time is this more clear than when it rains. Managing the flow of runoff through a city is an immensely complex challenge that affects us in so many ways, from public safety to property rights, from the environment to the health and welfare of citizens. Hey, I'm Grady, and this is Practical Engineering. On today's episode, we're talking about urban stormwater management.
My suggestion to all water resources people is that they should at least see one or two a day for 10 minutes, 15 minutes on any such development which is going on in the world, so that your senses will automatically go in that direction. Give your 10 to 15 minutes. Daily I see one or two videos. 1 hour I spend on these type of videos every day.
This video is sponsored by CuriosityStream and Nebula. Get 26% off at the link in the description. More on that later.
Ad is also related to storm.
The water cycle is one of the most basic science lessons we learn. So basic, in fact, that it's easy to forget how relevant and important it is to our lives. Take a look out your window when it's raining, even when it's raining hard, and it doesn't seem that significant. Some of the rain soaks into the ground, some gets taken up by plants, some gets caught in puddles, and some runs off downhill, usually into the street. One of the biggest challenges in a city is the proportions of all these different paths that water can take. All those streets, sidewalks, buildings, and parking lots cover the ground with impervious surfaces, which means that instead of water infiltrating, it runs off toward creeks and rivers, swelling them faster and higher and filling them with more pollution. One of the biggest impacts on the environment of building anything is its effect on how water moves above and below the ground during storms. Multiply that to the scale of a city, and you can see how remarkably we modify our landscape. Instead of acting like a sponge to absorb rainwater as it falls, urban watersheds act like funnels, gathering and concentrating rainwater runoff. In this video, I want to walk you through some of the infrastructure cities use to manage this massive challenge and a few new ideas in stormwater management that are slowly taking hold in urban areas. Like most of the biggest challenges of building and maintaining a civilization, the negative impacts from adding impervious cover don't befall the property owner doing the adding, but rather the people downstream. Just like dumping pollution into the river carries it away to the next guy, it's easy to make bad drainage decisions into someone else's problem. That's why most large cities have rules about flooding when new buildings or neighborhoods get built. Drainage reviews are just a normal part of the process of obtaining a building permit these days. If you live in a major city, just do a search for your local drainage manual to see the kinds of things that are required. Increased runoff has been a problem since people started living in cities in the first place. And the first way we handled it was simply to get the water out and away as quickly as possible. That's because runoff creates flooding, and flooding causes billions of dollars of property damage. Runoff from the streets directly into the sewage system. It's a well-developed network of pipes flowing by gravity out of the city. Why not use it for stormwater too? Well, there's actually a really good reason not to do that. At the end of each sanitary sewer system is a wastewater treatment plant that was almost certainly to process a massive influx of combined sewage and stormwater runoff at the whims of Mother Nature. In the worst cases, these plants have to release untreated wastewater directly into waterways when it's too much to be stored or processed. That's why most cities now use municipal separate storm sewer systems, usually abbreviated as MS4s. These are networks of ditches, curbs, gutters, sewer pipes, and outfalls solely dedicated to moving runoff. These inlets aren't just places clowns hang out. They usually represent a direct path between the street and the nearest creek or river. Just to be clear, there's not usually any type of treatment happening along the way. These sewers are not for waste. Whatever you put in the storm sewer system goes directly into a waterway, so please don't dump stuff in there. It's easy to see why cities try so hard to get stormwater out as fast as possible if you look at the floodplain. This is just the area most likely to be inundated during a major flood. Land is one of the most valuable things that could be flooded. To keep up with the increased runoff from more and more development. That's why most cities now require developers to take responsibility for their own increase in runoff. By and large, that means on-site storage for stormwater. Retention and detention ponds act like mini sponges, absorbing all the rain that rushes off buildings, streets, and parking lots, and releasing it slowly back into water. Waterways. This shaves off the peak of the runoff with the goal of reducing it back down to or less than it was before all those buildings and parking lots got built. They also help reduce pollution by slowing down the water so suspended particles can settle out. On-site storage is a pretty effective solution and one you'll see everywhere if you're paying attention, but it still treats stormwater as a waste product, something to be gotten rid of. The reality is that rain is a resource. And
one way is to have a natural and an urban development development going side by side. Okay, you put some plants, you grow some plants. Like in Mumbai, they have started growing urban forest. The concept came from the Japan, and they have developed more than 35 urban forests in the Mumbai. Means before the coming of the city buildings, what type of plants are growing there? So they started seeding and planting those indigenous plants, and they have grown up very good in that particular soil. So this is the concept of urban forest actually. So the solution to this all is we have to, like, we don't say ki we will not live, we will let every people go out. Just a second. Hello. 5805. हाँ, तो ठीक है, फिर आप कर लो. So the best and most optimal way is that we don't say ki, let take us airport at some other place. Best way is to provide a solution over there only. So one solution is like this: you plant lot of trees, lot of small plants, so that your movement will not disturbed. Okay, and rooftop, wherever there is open space. How many roofs have such plants in our areas? All roofs are bare, vacant. Okay. Third thing is that I guarantee you that every drain drains are actually filled up with the garbage and all. They want to be cleaned. If you have a proper cleaning system, then also you can avoid this drainage issues. Okay. So let us conclude with this video, then we will continue. We will go for the
Include
tea.
better management of the floodplain by using it for purposes less vulnerable to flooding, like parks and trails. One low-impact strategy is permeable pavement, and I have a video just on that topic if you want to check it out after this one.
See, this is a permeable
One thing I have to
pavement,
mention
but
when-
we always create with the pavement which is non-permeable. So go for this. These are
Talking
some
about
very
flooding is
specific
vehicle
solutions.
crossings. Any location where
And
a
when you
waterway-
total it for the city, as he told, it will not your household things will not. But when accumulated for whole city, it is too much of kilometers. When such permeable pavements are created, they will benefit whole city.
a road cross paths, whether it's a bridge, a culvert, or a low water crossing, there's always a chance of flooding getting so bad that it overtops the road. If you ever see water over the top of a roadway, just turn around. Half of all flood-related deaths happen when someone tries to drive a car or a truck through water over a road. If you can't see the road, you have no idea how deep the water is. And even if you can, it only takes a small amount of swift water to push a vehicle down